Hey agents, welcome back to Agents Confidential. My name is Yana, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Over the past few years, I've had the chance to sit with agents and industry leaders and, hear strategies for lead generation, branding, referrals, social media, AI, websites, CRM, all of the above. Pretty much just about every way that you can grow your insurance business. And after listening to all of those conversations, I've come to one conclusion. I don't think your greatest business asset is your marketing. Now, before you click away because the marketing person just said marketing isn't the most important thing, I'm gonna need you to hear me out. I have spent the last 12 years working in creative and marketing, and for the last several years, I've had the opportunity to focus and work exclusively in the insurance industry. I really do love marketing. I think it's one of the most valuable investments that you can make in your business. But I've realized something very important specific to this industry. Is that the agents who build businesses that last aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest advertising budgets, the best logos, or the most followers. They are the ones who have built the most trust. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Where websites, CRMs, and your book of business have value, I do believe that your greatest asset is your relationship capital. So let's get into it. Okay, relationship capital. This might be the first time you're hearing about this, and that's okay. The way that I define relationship capital is pretty simple. It is the trust that you've built with your clients, your referral partners, and your community over time. Every conversation you have either builds trust or it weakens it. And I think that that's something that makes the insurance industry so unique and special. Insurance is still a people business. We're living in this really interesting time where AI is changing almost everything. Marketing is changing, technology is changing, the way people find businesses is changing, and it's really fun. I personally use AI every day. It helps me brainstorm, helps me organize projects, and outlines and work more efficiently than ever. Technology is an incredible tool, but here's what I don't think it ever will replace: trust. No matter how much technology changes, people are still making deeply personal decisions in this industry. They're deciding how they want to protect their family, how they want to prepare for retirement, how to navigate Medicare for the first time. Those aren't just financial decisions, but they're also emotional ones. And when people are making these emotional decisions, they don't just want information, they do want someone that they can trust. That's why I think that insurance will always be a people-first industry. So thinking about the grand scheme of your business, marketing isn't necessarily the goal, relationships are. I also think that sometimes agents can put too much pressure on themselves when it comes to marketing. Posting every day, thinking you have to go viral, or thinking that they need better graphics or need more followers. All of these things are great, but the real value is in relationships. Marketing is simply one way to remind people who you are and who you can help. The goal isn't to become internet famous over health insurance. The goal is to become unforgettable to the people in your community. Because then when someone's mom turns 65, when their coworker loses employer, when their neighbor asks, hey, do you know a good Medicare agent? You want your name to be the first one that comes to mind. So let's start with your clients. I've heard it said that people don't always remember exactly what you said, but they do remember how you made them feel. I think it was Maya Angelou. And it is probably the most true statement in insurance. Most people are not going to remember every detail you explained about deductibles and drug formularies, but they'll remember that you answered the phone. They remembered that you followed through. They'll remember that you called them back. They'll remember that you made something confusing understandable. That is relationship capital. Every time you keep your word, every time you solve a problem, every time you simply care, you're making another deposit into that relationship. And over time, those deposits compound. One conversation that you have with a client can pay dividends for years, not just because that client renews, but because they tell their spouse, they tell their children, they tell their church, they tell their neighbors. One relationship can become many if you care and do a good job. The second place that I think relationship capital shows up is with referral partners. This industry is incredibly relationship driven. Whether you work with financial advisors, real estate agents, CPAs, estate planning attorneys, healthcare professionals, or just other people in your industry, those relationships really do matter. And here's the thing, Referral partners don't just send you business because you asked them once over coffee to do that. They send you business because they trust you with the people they care about. So when someone sends you a referral, they're putting their own reputation on the line. They're saying, I trust this person enough to introduce them to someone important to me. And that's a huge responsibility. Check in with them, celebrate their wins, follow through on your promises, look for ways to help in their business too. The strongest partnerships aren't transactional. They are built on mutual trust. That brings me to number 3, your community. The third place relationship capital grows is in your community. This is also where social media comes in. I know a lot of agents get discouraged because they'll post something on Facebook and think, well, it only got like 5 likes, or nobody reached out to me. But I don't think that's the right way to measure success in this industry. Facebook isn't always about getting a lead today. Sometimes it's about being remembered 6 months from now. Every educational post, every client story, every community event, every reminder that you're here to help is another opportunity for someone to remember what you do. People are busy. They forget. Your posts aren't just for people reading them today. They're for the moment when someone asks, do you know an insurance agent? And suddenly your name comes to mind. That's valuable. Another thing to keep in mind is the long game here. One thing that I've noticed about successful agents and have also heard from other successful agents is they play the long game. They understand that not every conversation becomes a sale. Not every meeting becomes a client. Not every post becomes a lead. But almost every interaction is an opportunity to build trust. And trust compounds. Just like compound interest grows over time, relationship capital will also grow over time. One kind interaction doesn't seem like much until you've repeated it 1,000 times. So if there's one thing that I want to leave you with today, it is this. Don't just think about building your marketing. Think about building your relationship capital. Invest in your clients, invest in your referral partners, invest in your community, because the plans change every year. Technology will continue to evolve. Marketing trends will come and they will go. But one thing does not have to change, and that's your clients should feel comfortable picking up the phone and calling you. If you become someone people trust, you will never stop building your business. So thanks for listening to this quick episode of Agents Confidential. I know it's a little bit different from our usual interviews, but it just felt like an important thing to bring up, especially as we head into the AEP season, for you to have lots of interactions with your clients. And remember that AEP is also a time to build that trust with your clients and make deposits into your relationship capital. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, how you are building relationship capital on your own business. Let us know, and we'll see you in the next episode.